Hello, I'm Layla. I will tell you what happened to me. I lived in a quiet village with very few residents, and I was the only single woman. All the girls got married. Among our customs, if a girl reaches the age of 20, her family must prepare her for the marital home, provided that the groom is from the village and nothing else. This is what made the young men of the village rush to propose to me as the most dangerous opportunity they have left. So I decided to have a special condition in order for me to accept someone who suits his culture, as I loved reading and solving the puzzle, which is why I chose a puzzle. I approached my father and said, "Father, I have prepared a difficult riddle for the young men of the village, and whoever can solve it within 3 days, I will accept him as my husband." My father agreed to the condition and informed everyone to come to our house the next morning, and then the village youth flocked to our door. My father received them and welcomed them until I arrived. She shined in the most beautiful clothes and entered them. I found short, tall, fat, and skinny. I couldn't accept any of them, and I started blaming myself for my stupid idea while I was lost in my misfortune. My father put his hand on my shoulder, saying, "Tell them, my daughter, your honor is a condition that is a simple puzzle, and whoever can solve it first, I will give him a life partner, but you must find the solution within only 3 days." Everyone exchanged looks of astonishment and whispered among themselves about the strangeness of what I was saying. They did not think that the condition was only to solve a puzzle. The puzzle is, what is the thing that can read an instrument without seeing it? I remind you that the first person to solve this puzzle before the limited days expire will win. Everyone left our house looking for a solution. I was afraid that someone would come back with a solution and I would be in an unenviable position. The first day passed without anyone returning. My father was worried that they would not return, and he scolded my son about the absurdity of the condition. As for me, I was very happy that they were unable to solve the puzzle. On the morning of the second day, one of the young men came, and when I saw him, I was very afraid. He may have found the solution to the puzzle, as I did not like it as he was tall and his face was full of blood. He approached me and said, "You will definitely be my part." Then he let out a loud laugh as if he had truly won me over. My father came to me at the sound of his laughter and said to me in astonishment, "I can't believe this will be your fate." May I hope so? My head slowed down in fear and dread. Yes, uncle, I was the one who knew the solution. Isn't it cold? He is the one who decides that we are in winter and we do not see it. I raised my head and smiled at his answer and said, "You are wrong. That's not the answer, so I won't be your wife. This doesn't make sense. I'm sure cold is the correct answer. Come on, confess without turning around or turning around. You must be manipulating us." He became very angry and my father calmed him down until he left the place. Then I breathed a sigh of relief, but my father gave him an angry look and said, "The flow has reached the point of blood. I wouldn't wait for a condition like this to come true so you won't forget it. And the first one to open the door tomorrow, I will marry his relative. You can't do that. You promised me that your acceptance is conditional on solving the puzzle. I modified my condition, and you will do the same. What is said behind my back in the village is enough for me." He went away angrily without trying to hear my objection. I remained afraid of the first visitor to our house after sunset. On the third day he knocked on our door. I remained in my place for fear that Al-Tariq would be one of the suitors and that he would not be acceptable in form or content. My father got up and opened the door. I heard him say, "Welcome to our guest. You are welcome and welcome." I caught a glimpse of the guest entering the room through the curtain. He was very tall, with a hump on his back, and he was carrying a patched bag. He even looked like a beggar, as his clothes were torn and his face was dirty. My father sat him on the chair and he came to me and said, "Try to find something that can satisfy his thirst." He brought it quickly and asked him what we were talking about until you found that they were ready to eat. He stayed here looking hungry. I rushed to the kitchen and prepared the tray of food. I took it to them, trembling about what my father would do to this guest. I wonder if he will carry out his last words and marry him, or was it just talk? I placed the dishes on the table and suddenly looked at him. He said, "I am sorry for coming to you without an appointment, but the hunger that we cannot see has pinched me from his sentence," and I looked at him in amazement. I found him looking at me with a confident, sarcastic look. Then I understood that he had only come to us to solve the mystery. This was the answer. What a pity he was when my father replied to him, "Come on, you are welcome. You will eat today until the disc pain goes away, and you will stay with us tonight until you prepare for your wedding, and then God will make your lives easier." No, father, we did not agree on this. Then time has passed and I cannot marry the worst person in the village. Hold your tongue, girl, otherwise how dare you insult my guest and my home? I shook my head and rushed to my room, crying about what my decisions had led me to. I wish I could choose from among the young men the one I like without resorting to this ridiculous riddle. I kept crying until I fell asleep. Early in the morning, I woke up to my father's voice calling me to prepare your bags and my house. I gathered my clothes, straightened my outfit, and took down the burden of my disappointment. My father met me with a wide smile. The earth was not enough for his joy, completely unlike me. Suddenly, I saw behind him a handsome young man in an elegant outfit, but he looked like yesterday's guest. However, the hump has disappeared from his back, and nothing stains his face or clothes anymore. What is this? This handsome young man was not in this shape yesterday except by my order. After he brought me the solution to the puzzle, I wanted to teach you a lesson that would make you forget his arrogance towards the youth of the village. Indeed, I learned from my mistake and apologized to the village youth for my behavior, and now I tell my children about what happened to me in my youth and how I met their father in an incident similar to fairy tales, and how,